Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is part 2 of the story time of how I became homeschooled, and I'm going to start with a little recap so you guys can remember. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy, and on with the video. So where I left off last time was I wrote a note to the principal because my friend fell and my teacher wasn't listening. I was 11 at the time, I calculated this up, and in my note, I told you guys already that I wrote that I thought that she was being a bad teacher because she wasn't listening to me. And this has been going on for a while, so I was listing other things that were happening also. Well, as I was writing it, after I was done, I folded it up, taped it, and tried to hide it underneath some books. Well, she comes over, yanks it out from underneath the books, and looks at it and says, this is for the principal? Okay, and rips it open and reads it anyway. I'm kind of stunned at this because her being an adult, you would think that, there would be some common sense there, but apparently there wasn't. She read it and she looked at me as in like I was a horrible human being, and she was like, I think I'll take this to the principal myself, and she put it on her desk. And I didn't see that note until very, very much later on. Come to find out from the teachers telling my parents this, which my parents had no idea that this was happening until later because I didn't tell them. She tore off all the parts of her being bad and what she's done and what I was explaining. She tore all of that off and left the part of me saying that she was a horrible teacher and spread it around to all of the teachers trying to get them to go against me and literally try and ruin my life in school. She was the only class I had an F in. Everybody else, I was fine. I was trying to get through, and again, my parents had no idea why I was having an F in this class, but everywhere else it was fine. Some of the teachers I was able to count on, which thank you so much to those teachers. Without those teachers, I wouldn't be able to have even been able to go through with all of this. They were very helpful, and I'm very much grateful for what they did. They told my parents what happened and about the whole note situation and helped talk to the principal about it. My parents didn't know that this was happening because I never really talked about it. I kind of didn't, I thought that this was all normal. I didn't know that it wasn't normal. So at the end of that day, it was starting to come to the last straw, and my oldest brother, his name is Skylar, he picked me up from school that day, and I just started crying in the back of the car. I was so upset, and I felt like I just felt like everybody was against me. Not everybody was, so I'm thankful for the people that were there for me. So the next day, the principal, after overhearing what was happening, he came out to recess and brought my teacher over so that we could talk all together. When she was there, she looked at me like I was some demon on this world. Like, she actually looked like evil. Like, she just didn't like me, and she looked at me like I was a terrible human being. So the principal asks, is everything that you've said true about this, this, and this? And did this happen? And did this happen? And I want to talk about it to make sure that this is happening. And I told him everything was true. I told him the truth about everything. And she looked at me and she went, I cannot believe you would say something like that about me. I did nothing like that. I cannot believe you would lie like that. And I was looking at her like she was crazy. And I felt scared because I thought the principal was going to believe her more than me because, when we're little, we're used to the adults hearing adults instead of us because we're kids. I thought that he was going to do that to me. Well, he said that he heard everything that he needed to hear, and he went back inside, and she gave me a look of disgust, like, how dare you say something like that? And she left. So I went back into the playground. I was so confused. I was so startled by what happened. And then later on that day, when we went into the school again after recess, she pulled me out and told me how would you like it if you went home and your parents told you that they didn't love you anymore and that you were a horrible person and that they were going to kick you out? And she just kept on going and going and going, as if like, what if my parents told me what I told her, but she made it worse sounding? Because all I said was I thought that she was being a bad teacher because she didn't want to listen to me, and she was calling me on things that she knew that I didn't know. Other people were getting less work than me and a few of the other kids that she was targeting at the time. And I was just listing out everything that I thought was wrong, and it was addressed to the principal. I wasn't going to show it to her. I wasn't going to tell her that I'd written a note, but she decided to read it. So, and again, I was 11 at the time. How old was she? Like, in the hundreds? She looked it. Anyway, so she was telling me, what if my parents said that about me? And she's like getting up like this close to my face. Like, she was super close to my face. And I was like backing up into the wall because I'm like, okay, you need to get out of my face. And so I was like, I wouldn't like it. And I started starting to cry. And she goes, exactly. So now you know how I feel when you say horrible things like that about me. And then she forced me to hug her. And I real quick left and went into the classroom. Then I think it was that day, my mom came and picked me up, and I had enough. I'm leaving out minor details because I don't really remember everything. I kind of try and block this out of my head as much as possible. But my mom came and picked me up, and she saw that I was crying, and she knew that this was happening a little bit. Now, if you know my mom, which a lot of you don't, she is a mama bear. Very overprotective. If anything hurts any one of our family members, me especially, or any one of our friends, she's gonna handle it, and she doesn't care how the other people feel. You know, she's like one of those types of people, but she's very affectionate also, so it comes both ways. Well, when she heard this, she turned the van completely around, went back to that school, demanded to talk to the principal, which the principal's a very nice guy. He helped me out so much. Thank you so much to him. I knew that I bothered him all the time with this, but he really helped all that he can with all the school rules and everything. He really helped. So thank you so much to him. But he let us come back, me tell him everything from the very beginning, instead of just me telling him a little bit here and there with her present. I told him everything that happened, and my mom's like, you're gonna let me have a meeting. We're gonna have a meeting, and we're gonna get this solved and taken care of. So that's when they had the meeting. Not that day, but it was like a couple days later. They had the meeting, and she tried to lie the entire meeting. Like, it's really hard for me to describe. I wasn't in the meeting because my mom didn't want me to be around her, but I was told what happened afterwards. It was my mom, my dad, my oldest brother, my my youngest brother, he's older than me. So I'm the baby of the family. I have a brother that's older than me, and then I have an older brother that's older than both of us. So the oldest is Skylar, the middle is Christian, and then it's me. So Skylar and Christian were there also, and another friend of ours was there. They were all there to talk to her, and they knew that she was lying because the rest of the teachers told my mom about the whole letter accident, and that's when it started to go downhill. You can tell that the letter was ripped, and she tried to tell my mom that she didn't rip it, and that's exactly what I wrote. She also lied about hugging me on purpose, like pulling me into a hug. No, she told me that she wanted to give me a hug. I did not. She she lied about all the other kids that she was doing things to, and it was just a really hard time. Well, towards the end of the meeting, my dad looked at her and said, okay, well, you have two options. Either one, you leave tomorrow, you leave this school, or you're gonna get fired. Those are your two options. You wanna get fired or you wanna leave? And she ended up leaving before she was fired. She handed in her resignation right then and there and went back to her classroom, and then by the end of the week, she was gone. And that was a really relieving time for me because I didn't have to worry about looking after myself in classrooms. Like, that's just not something that you should feel. You should feel safe and understood in your classrooms. So I want to say this real quick. If any of you feel like any of this stuff is happening and you're too afraid to tell anybody like I was, you really need to tell somebody for your sake and for the people that are coming into the classroom after you, because you might be like, oh no, I'm gonna be in here for just 1 year, I can get through it. Well, just think about the other people that have to go through it also, and maybe they're not as tough-skinned as you. That was happening at my school. She did this to several grades before me, and nobody spoke up about it because they were too scared to. And the whole entire school system in that school was terrible anyway. Like, it was all run by rich people, and the rich people had money, so they didn't care. It was one of those types of situations. It was stupid. Anyway, she left. All of the kids blamed me. That's when I started getting notes left on my desk telling me that I don't need to be there and that I never should have came, and I was getting death threats. I was being told to kill myself. I was being told that I was stupid and that things were gonna happen to me. It was a whole new level of bullying that I've never experienced before. All of my years in school, I was always bullied. Always bullied in every single grade. I remember I was always bullied. There were a few people that were nice to me, but mostly it was a lot of other people that weren't. So I was kind of used to the regular bullying. It still hurt, but it wasn't as bad. But when I start getting death threats and being told to kill myself, that's kind of when my depression started coming in, because I started thinking that it got really bad. It never got physical, but it felt like it was starting to become that way. So my mom thought it was the best option to homeschool me and pull me out of the school, because there was no schools around there that were good. And I don't think there was a school that was near my house except for that one. So I left that school, and the day that everybody found out I was leaving, notes telling me, good, I'm glad you're gone, the school's gonna actually be good now, and things like that. And people were laughing at me, and the whole bye Felicia thing is funny and all for a lot of people, but they don't know the reason why I don't like it. It's not because I hear it every day, I don't care, but the reason why is because they used it against me in a pretty rough way, that it wasn't supposed to be intended to be that way. So yeah, so I left the school, and I have met some of those people in the future. They still ignore me. They kind of look at me like they realize who I am. There are some people who've looked at me and was like, oh, hey Felicia, like, how's it going? And I'm like, wow, you changed. Hey, how are you? I don't bring it up. I try and not live in the past. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to explain why I haven't been in school, because I might be going to school. Yeah, I'm excited about this school. There is a little bit of me that's still scared that I'm going to have that bullying, but I need to get past that and not let them get to me, because I'm me, and I can't change that, and I won't change that for anybody, and I need to do that. And I'm super excited because in this whole 5 years that I have been homeschooled, I became super introverted. I don't have a lot of friends. I mean, I never did, but I want more friends. I want to be able to hang out with people. So I think that this school will be a really good opportunity for me. And also it has a drama club. Super excited about that. I'm super excited. And it's funny because I tell everybody about my school and that I might be going to, and everybody's like, yeah, that's just like regular school. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I haven't been to school for the last 5 years. So I'm like super outdated, I guess you can say. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm looking on the bright side. I really don't dwell on the things that happened in the past. I kind of just let that go. It has been the resort of the reason why I feel the way I feel about myself. I'm really hard on myself, and I need to learn how to not do that. But I think that this school is going to be a great opportunity for me to be able to get out of my shell and be able to actually have friends and express myself the way that I feel like I need to. So yeah, that's the reason why I became homeschooled. It was mostly because of the teacher, and then the bullying came a lot worse later. So I left, and homeschooling hasn't really been the best, as in structural wise. So that's the reason why I'm going back to school. But you know, I'm excited, and I wouldn't change anything that has happened in the past, because you know, that's how I turned out to be who I am today. So yeah, that's my story. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm going to move forward and not dwell in the past. Again, if you guys feel like you're not safe in your classrooms, or if you feel like your teachers are getting down on you way more than they probably should, or if you feel like you're getting bullied in any way, please reach out to somebody. It is very important and very crucial for you to do that, because if you don't, then it's not going to get any better, and you're going to regret not doing that. So please look out for yourselves and for other people. I hope you guys are having a great quarantine life. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.